Big news coming out of Sunday. Sam Pittman was fired by Arkansas. Now, you may be wondering, okay, why am I dedicating a whole segment to this? And if you were on social media on Sunday afternoon, everybody was writing their own think pieces and their own predictions about, okay, who does Arkansas go after next? Similar to what we did with Oklahoma State when they fired Mike Gundy earlier on last week. And the number one name on almost everything I saw and the picture that everybody used in their articles was Rhett Lashlee. And of course, it's a no-brainer, right? Rhett Lashlee played for Arkansas. He is one of the hottest rising commodities in the coaching ranks in all of college football. I mean, it's a short list of him and G.J. Kinney and Ben Arbuckle, but the difference between the first two is that they've already been head coaches. You got the guy at USF who's starting to make waves, but Rhett Lashlee was at the top of every single list. Now, I don't know what Rhett Lashlee's buyout is, and quite frankly, I don't think it's important because it's Arkansas. And Rhett Lashlee to Arkansas, if he ever wanted to do it, would make a lot of sense. Number one, Arkansas is not short of money. If SMU says, all right, here's what the buyout is, Arkansas can pay the buyout. They're one of a few schools that, and remember, it's harder to fire coaches these days because you have to commit so much money to building a roster now. So it's harder to fire coaches because you got to pay a buyout. And then if you want to go get a big time name from somewhere else, you got to pay his buyout and then, give him a contract. So it's a little bit harder. But Arkansas is one of those schools where that may not apply as much. So whatever the price is, if Arkansas wanted to do it and Rhett Lashlee wanted to do it, Arkansas could make it work. There's also the second thing about Arkansas, which would make Rhett Lashlee a pretty damn good fit. And that is, Arkansas is never starved of characters. I mean, look at the dude they just fired, Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman is a brand of his own. You look at the dude that they just brought in as their men's basketball coach, John Calipari, a brand of his own. By the way, the dude he replaced, who's now at USC, a brand of his own. So when it comes to Arkansas sports, if you can be your own character and draw people in just because of that, by the way, their interim head coach right now is none other than Bobby Petrino. So if the Arkansas, no matter where you slice it, when it comes to the revenue generating sports, it's not just the team. It's not just the team that you go see. You have recognizable figures, which will always drive up the brand's value. And what Rhett Lashlee did over the summer, making waves when it comes to calling out Kirk Cignetti or calling out the ESPN FPI or getting into it with Paul Feinbaum and then, hell, going on Paul Feinbaum's show at the end of the summer, Rhett Lashlee has made himself, whether he intended to or not, he has made himself a very polarizing coaching figure. And I think Arkansas is a place for polarizing coaching figures. Again, just look at all the people that they have employed recently. So there's that side of it. That's the Arkansas fit side of it. Now, do I think that Rhett Lashlee would necessarily or automatically leave SMU if Arkansas's first call would be to him? Which I would imagine Arkansas's first call would be to him. Do I believe he would leave? It depends on his values, and it depends on where he is in his life with regard to where he wants to be. Rhett Lashlee right now is 42 years old. So he reasonably could think, man, I've got this opportunity to be a head coach of the SEC. I'm 42 years old, not 35. Let me go ahead and do it. And it would make sense. Or if his values are, man, I'm in the process of resurrecting this program, whether or not you think the program is already resurrected because they already made a college football playoff, which again, a matter of perspective. if he values staking his legacy intricately with SMU, then you don't have to worry about him leaving. But if it's a career-driven thing, I want to go back to where I made a name for myself as a quarterback, familiar spot. I would never have to buy a drink at Fayetteville again, especially if that program all of a sudden becomes successful. You could reasonably see him decide to make the jump to the SEC. And look, Sonny Dykes left SMU after success to go to TCU. And to me, that says, and Sonny Dykes is in a different stage of his life than Rhett Lashlee is, don't get me wrong. But to me, that says that SMU, while it is back as a relevant college football program, isn't necessarily a dream destination sort of end of career type of job. It's not there yet. It's not Alabama, right? It's not that. So it's not Clemson, it's not Notre Dame. So to me, it's just always going to be a matter of how does Rhett Lashlee view his current spot within the confines of what he wants to do with his career. If his ultimate goal in his career is to be an excellent SMU coach and we're going to take this program as high as possible, then you got nothing to worry about. But if his goal is, I want to be an awesome SEC coach, I played at an SEC spot, then you've got something to worry about. Now, I will say this one thing, and I think this season, in lieu of what we're talking about, becomes even more important to keeping Rhett Lashlee around. Because the coaching circle, you can rise and you can plateau in it. And you can probably think of whichever name in college football or the NFL that this would apply to. When you're hot, you're hot. But if you plateau, or if your reputation starts to take a dip, you may have missed your window. So it's imperative that if SMU wants to keep him around, you got to go 8-4, 9-3. If it starts to look like last year was a fluke, I think that heightens the possibility that Rhett Lashlee could seriously entertain or take the Arkansas job if and when it is offered to him. Because I don't think at this point it's a matter of if. He will be offered the job. There will be communication between Arkansas and Rhett Lashlee. It'll ultimately depend on his values and his perspective on where he is in his career, whether or not he seriously entertains it or not.